Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. Today, I won't say that I learned, but it manifested in me that God can be what you need him to be when you need him to be it. He can show up in so many different ways. Today, I was feeling I was down. I was in a negative mood. I'll just say that. I was in a real negative mood. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like when you on a natural high, something great happen. There's always something, to get in your mind, get in your spirit to try to, offset the positivity that you're feeling. You know what I mean? I'm on my America's Got Talent high. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm on that. And, but today, I was just really in a bad mood. I mean, so much so I was in church thinking about slapping somebody, and I'm just being transparent. It is what it is. So, and I'm just in this negative mood, and I'm trying to, get out of it. The next thing you know, I get a phone call from a good friend of mine. A lot of y'all may know him, comedian Michael Colyer. You understand? Michael Colyer calls me and tells me how much he enjoyed my set on America's Got Talent, and I did well. And he was, we on the phone, but he hears my kids in the background, and he like, man, is that the baby? I was like, oh man, I got two girls now, man. I'm married, got two girls. And he said, man, you living life, man. You doing a thing, man. You got your wife, you got your two kids. He said, man, you didn't have none of that when I met you, man. It kind of dawned on me. He was just telling me, when sometimes you have friends that you've known for a while, you start kind of skipping down memory lane. Now, of course, me and Michael Colyer are not close in age, but I'm just saying, I've known Michael Colyer, which I call him Uncle Mike. I've known Uncle Mike for a minute. You know what I mean? I met him back in 2011, I believe. He saw me on stage at the J Spot, which is J. Anthony Brown's comedy club in L.A., in Inglewood, more specifically, that was on the corner of Manchester and Aviator. And he saw me do a set there. We had been cool ever since. After I got off stage, told me how funny I was, blah, 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 all that other stuff. And we had been friends ever since. And he just said, hey, man, I remember when you barely had a car, and you was out there in LA trying to figure it out, not really having direction. You was just doing your thing. And now look at you, man. You just did a spot on national television, and you got your wife and your kids. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he's telling me this, but in my mind, I'm going, you know what, he's right. I'm sitting here in a bad mood because I got the wrong perspective. I need to be look how far God has brought me. When I met Michael Colyer, all I had was a car that I don't think was paid for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just had this car. You know what I mean? That was doing all right. But that was all I had. When I met Michael Colyer, I had driven out from South Carolina to California. I was staying in San Diego on my cousin's couch, Fred Williams. I was staying on his couch. I was driving to LA, performing. I was just going up wherever I could. Most of the time you didn't get paid. Sometimes if you got paid, it'd be $25, maybe $50, depending on if you know the promoter or whatever. This, that, and so he's telling me that, and he's just like, man, I remember this, and I remember when you was in this position and that position, and da-da-da-da, and now look at you. Look how good God has been to you. And I'm not, gonna get choked up, but I'm just saying, because earlier I did cry. When I was on the phone with my car, I was crying. I did, I was in public crying. But all I was just saying, man, is like, here I am in a bad mood, thinking about these negative things, when in actuality, I really need to be just thankful. And I know that was like God's work, when God sees me sitting here having a moment where I'm in a negative mood, where I allowed negativity to come into my aura. And then it took one phone call, and it was God speaking through Michael Colyer for him to say, wait a minute, you thinking about all of this negative stuff that got you in a bad mood. But remember everything I've done for you. So now it's like, man, you know, every time I'm in a bad mood, or anytime I'm not feeling like myself, or I'm not positive, I just take a second and remember everything that God has done for me. And that's real, man. Like I really had to take them on and be like, wait a minute. God has done too much for me to be stuck in this. You know what I'm saying? You got people in your life that really love you, really care about you. You can't be stuck in this funk that you in. And he used Michael Colyer to do it. So shout out to him. Michael Colyer, if you don't know Michael Colyer, he's the king of Venice Beach. He did a stand-up special that's coming out real soon. A true stand-up comedian, a true legend. You know what I'm saying? He is the main bridge from Chicago to LA. That's what I call him. You know what I mean? One of the greatest comedians to ever do it. And he's a great friend and a great spirit. So shout out to Mike for calling me today and reminding me of how far God has brought me and picking my spirit up, man. I really needed that. And I love you forever, my guy. I thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, bro. Y'all, I'm out.